Hello guys, and welcome back to Field of Glory Empires. The world is looking quite crazy, man. It's looking quite crazy. Every time I look at Iberia, I feel like the Lusitani owns more of it. Every time I look at Carthage, it seems like they get smaller on their main zone. Certainly feels that way. They've been in a lot of wars. Macedonia keeps vanishing. We got rebels popping up now. Egypt's invading Cyrene at the moment. And yeah, they've kind of pieced out of all their other wars. We got Ethiopia, who's just destroying Nubia. They have like one thing left. It helped that Egypt was present, kind of. Maybe it didn't help. I don't know. But also the Nasamones over here getting absolutely curb stomped. Happy to see our ally doing so well. The Antigonids are just massive. They're eating Pontus right now. Some of these northern areas are doing interestingly. It's so hard to see the difference between Maria and Saka. Their names are so, or their colors are so similar. Why is there Antigonids up here? Hold up, what the hell? When did this happen? How do they even defend this? If the AI is smart enough, it could transport. They do seem smart enough to do naval things in this game. Saramatia is quite large. Quite large, Saramatia. And the Antigonids are in cooperation with them. That probably helps. Hey, maybe they purchased some of it. Maybe these are purchases. I don't know. We're definitely seeing some big players emerge, that's for sure. Caledonia is just like taking over all of Britannia at this rate. A lot of it's still wild. And Hibernia is being united by, oh, guess who? The Hiberni? So, that's interesting. Let's see what we have here. Have I already gone around doing everything this turn? I last played this game a couple days ago. It seems like I have generally gone around and set pretty much everything. I know that we have some things that are staying in place like this, just to keep the peace with the loyalty, things we've recently taken over, but we're trying to set up around this border because, well, our next target when we do go to war again is probably going to be like Palmyra, because they just, look at it, they don't like me. Minus 25. They used to like me. I used to think, man, I'm going to be friends with them. And even the Antigonids are not liking me. So that's going to be potentially a problem. I need an alliance with someone like Maria at this point, or, you know, Ethiopia needs to start doing really, really well, or I'm going to need to start expanding kind of overseas, which I've already kind of done, but like also not really. You know, I could also backstab Ethiopia, but I'd like to have one friend, especially a friend that's starting to do so well. So, since it seems like we took care of this entire turn, pretty much, on the last episode, I think we're good to just go ahead and go into the next turns. Let's go ahead, end our turn, see what happens. I know we're in a golden age, so money's good, but money's getting tight outside of the golden age status. Metal's doing great. Manpower's doing better than ever. And I haven't really been recruiting new units. I do... maybe? No. I think that we've put archers in everything. We're at 4 progress points, 4 progress tokens. We're pretty well in the green. We're not at like the top, but it's like these small nations that don't have a lot of decadence that are really at the top. Probably helps them progress, I guess. Damn, look at the Antigonids are 1,000 points ahead of us. God damn. Okay. Merchants, patricians, slave markets. I'll look at the slave market thing later. I know we've had this one location that's just... It seems like all of our slaves are just moving here for some reason, and I don't know. I don't really understand the dispersion. New generals available to serve me. That's nice. Maria unfortunately rejected my offer. What a surprise. Maria, we're in cooperation, but we really need to be friends. You don't have any allies? I have one, but I could be a good ally. I promise you, and I could really use you to help dissuade the Antigonids. With the current way that money and stuff is flowing right now, I'm actually going to recruit a couple things. You know, we have manpower building up. I don't know when it's going to max, but I could definitely afford a couple things. 2 Saracen Cameliers. 2 Arabian Cameliers. These are even provincial with the upticks in the cost. These are way cheaper, even in the most expensive case, than the archers I was recruiting, because they were all sourced from one province. It's at like 340 a pop. It's kind of excessive that I was paying that, but the 10 we have are fine. I'm just going to throw more Cameliers on, and that's more skirmishers and more cavalry, which I have seen that I could benefit from having, like, honestly more than 2 more of. But I'm just going to do 2 more of each to toss into those stacks. That'll get the stacks up to 30, I just realized. That's a neat little modern day round number. We built a quarry. There's only 1 building slot over here in Arabia Desertia. So a quarry, that's actually pretty good. Yeah. And we could get a furnace. Costs money. Furnace is nice. Makes metal. But also, I don't know. We don't really need metal. We could use metal, to be honest. We could. It could be nice. The preserved food store would certainly be useful as well. Health bonus, free supply, yeah. I'm starting to value stuff like this more now. The free supply per turn would be nice, but you need to really spread that stuff out to really see any massive benefit. Just raw food tends to be pretty decent as well. I would kind of like a furnace. I don't know, maybe we'll look at some other places first, because that's actually kind of hard to decide. We did build a ranch over here in Saracena already. We don't really need the guard tower. A lot of cases where we just don't need that stuff right now. I could go for the herbalist. We have plenty of building slots here. There's also a fortune teller. We have everything we need for the wheel maker, and so that's pretty attractive if you ask me. I'll probably take the wheel maker down there. We built a noble district in the capital. That's nice. That will help tremendously with loyalty. It's already helping quite a bit. Although now, shit dude, I don't know if we're building anything in this entire province. I don't think we are. No, we're not building anything in this whole ass province. That's funny. That's funny. Well, we clearly need more into food in general. Although this place needs infrastructure as to not lose population in general. I'm just going to leave everybody where they are because I believe I've already managed this stuff pretty well. There's a new population in Chitabanate. I can't even pretend like I could try to say these. Can't even pretend. This mix is decent. I like this. This is fine. A street parlor in Ada. Yep. Can't build anything else there right now. A new population in Itamos has been grown. Ooh. I think I could move one of these guys over to infrastructure. Yeah, to help build stuff faster. And then we got the public works built. Nice. Public works, very important. I could go for the shepherd house right now, or I could go for a usurer. It's not actually very good. I'll go for the shepherd house. It'll be done in 1 turn, and it'll give me some more food. Gives me an opportunity to move one of these citizens over to culture. You know, we need more culture all the time. Public works, hell yeah. Movement speed. I clicked on something wrong. I love to see these public works going down. What else can we get over here now? 4 building slots. It's pretty fine. I wouldn't mind the worship place to help with some loyalty. Furnace would be not very productive here. Physician's house would be nice. Shepherd house for food would be great, honestly. There's some decent culture to be had and loyalty. I'll take the worship place. We don't have like anything else special there. These religious buildings also do help in other instances as well. New population has been put in Uruk. We have a farm being made, so I'm tempted. I think we just put that on infrastructure at the moment. That seems... This is a mixed slave. Get that slave onto food. There you go. Get that slave onto food. We've finished a farm. This is nice. And we have a citizen on food. Not necessary at this point. Having this many on infrastructure almost seems wasteful, but they're not very productive, to be fair. None of these are very productive. What can we build here? What can we actually make better in this zone? No access to papyrus is kind of weird. Look, a preserved food store in this location could be pretty darn useful, actually. Could be pretty darn useful. We do have access to pottery and fish for some money as well. I think I will take this. Yeah. Yeah, this is here. Because this isn't even in a province. It can't share food. If we ever needed this as like a position for that, then yeah, dude. I'll take the preserved food store. Sure, why not? New population in Artemia. I see it. We have plenty of food here, and we're building a seed storage. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I'll move you on to infrastructure, I suppose. We could do with moving some probably down to culture, but it's fine for right now. It's not that big of a concern. How about down south? A ranch has been completed in Abula. Ooh, a fishery would be great. We'd get some local fish production. So with this infrastructure, this is actually a bit of a hard one to choose between. A bunch of infrastructure or some food. Siege resist as well. Also a cult site to help with conversion, which would just make them very happy here. These are a lot of really good options. These are some really nice options. I think I'm going to have to go with the fishery. Just because those are generally rarer for me to pop up. Going back around to this, I think I'm going to go with the preserved food store. I haven't valued those very much overall, and I think I'm going to start valuing those more. The 20 free supply they give is great. That could supply even my biggest army. I don't think they apply provincially, which is sad, but still, it's nice. And if we can spread them out, that would be great. In our more built-up locations in our original zone, might be harder to pull off, but those places are already really, really well off for food anyway. I don't think there's anything else to do this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and hit end turn. You know, the way this has all been evolving is quite interesting. The Antigonids used to be a potential ally for us. Now I think they're a potential threat. Given that they're the biggest nation on the planet, that's a problem. Palmyra as well, but we're going to have to attack them. The Seleucids at one point were a potential enemy, and then they got very weak because they lost to the Antigonids and Tamaria. And then they were a potential ally because they were starting to warm up to us. And now they're dead, and I've taken over, honestly, what is probably their most valuable province, and then some things around it. It's very interesting how this is going. Macedonia has now gone under me for total legacy. Interesting. Food and water for the population. Also, I know I didn't really go back to the slave markets. Slaves at this point are really not that problematic overall. Yes, they have unrest and they can be unhappy, but at this point, a lot of my population is getting just as unrestful, and I have access to a lot of things that help loyalty anyway, so the difference between a slave and not a slave is not a lot to me. It's just a financial burden overall. I'm just going to keep distributing. I don't know. Weird. It's weird. I don't know. I'm just going to distribute them for right now, just because I want to ride out the way my money is currently going. So the Saracen Cameliers, that goes into this stack. I like how I named them after, like, where I get the, specifically the Cameliers from. It's kind of weird. You're going there. You guys need to be your own stack. There you go. And you're the Arabic Cameliers. Who uses the Arabic? Not you. So it's going to be you. Yep. Saba army, go to him. It's very bad desert conditions right now, so we haven't really moved from that spot. So this place is draining a lot of food. Yeah, which is not great, but we don't actually consume that much. Like, not an insane amount, mind you. And then you're going to go over... Well, you can't go over there, as it would turn out. But you're going to go pretty damn close for now. 2 turns to run across the desert in that direction. Yeah, that seems pretty fine to me. For this corn law, I'm going to go for those health regulations. Gives just a health bonus for 20 turns. It's pretty smart to take, I think. In the army now. Region's too populous, too many men want to join the army. As the pay is good, something should be done. Well, I'm not over my maximum, so we're good in that regard. So we got another population over here. That's nice. Due to our healthcare, I believe. And we could build some stuff. Hey, look! Preserved food store. I was just saying I'm going to value this more. This is in Arabia Felix. I think I'm going to take this. It looks better than a lot of this other stuff anyway. Especially for this location in particular. So I'm going to go ahead and get that building there. That's the only thing building in this whole zone, so it's going to be done in 1 turn. City walls have been finished over here. That's nice. I can get a slave market here. I can get a monument. I could get a warehouse. That's a lot. The warehouse, that's a whole lot. A smokehouse. We have cattle. A smokehouse would work pretty well. For food and health? Yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty decent. I don't have any money buildings here at all, so I'm tempted on that slave market. Again, I don't usually see it pop up, so sure. Slave market it is. We love slaves here. Hell yeah, baby. I swear to God, every time I redistribute them, they're all going to Badio, and I can't figure out why. Like, my amount of slaves here just keep increasing. I feel like it's because it just doesn't have enough normal populations or something. I don't know, but there's so many. Street parlor has been built here, but we can't build anything else. Also, on this island, a palisade has been built. That's nice. That's a nice little thing. We could use something a little bit more productive now. There's some options, like a street parlor, for example. No papyrus here. I think I'm going to prioritize the stud. The stud, just for food. We have citizens working on agriculture. Yeah, we could use some food here, certainly. Certainly. We got a population over here where I started building that preserved food store last turn. I had a little mental discussion with myself about that. That's going to add... This doesn't actually add more food, which is funny. It adds health. But free supply. It's kind of like an interesting, weird thing. Shrug, whatever. I think this is probably fine. Maybe this would be better. Just to helping building in this limited region where, hey, look, we could build something here, but we're not building anything. Probably because some slaves ended up here at some point. A royal treasure. Royal treasury, I assume. See, I just don't want this on my border. That seems like such a terrible idea. A preceptor house. Oh, a preserved food store right here. This would be so good. Oh, these would both be so good. I'm gonna have to take the preserved food store. Because this is literally on my border. This would be so good on my border. The preceptor house would be better. For, you know, well, existential things, but still, I'll take it. What did we just build here? A monument. Okay, so we got some culture coming in. That's good. I think the brickwork here is a pretty good one. Either that or the cult site. Culture and conversion would be helpful. But infrastructure would be too. I think I'll take the culture and conversion, actually. Yeah. Culture conversion, that would be pretty useful. And yeah, I'll take that. That sounds nice to me. Sure. New population here doesn't change a whole lot. Everybody's on food. Everybody's on food, man. It's kind of funny. I feel like one of these guys could be spared for culture. I've been ignoring a lot of potential dudes I could put on culture. I'm gonna spare one guy for culture. Quarry has been completed in Susiana. That's nice. A wheel maker would be a very obviously good thing to make. A tavern, very good now that we have access to wine and other things. Loyalty bonus here would be pretty useful. So would a crafter district would be pretty useful as well. We do have multiple building slots here though. I'm going to prioritize that tavern. It'll make me some money. It'll give me some loyalty. I value that. And it'll be done in one turn. A shepherd house down here for the food has finished. That seems pretty good to me. Now, more food could be pretty useful, or infrastructure, one way or another, would be useful. Loyalty not very important here at the moment. I think I'll take the stud, and I'll move one guy off food, since I know food will be coming from the stud. Put him on infrastructure. Stables has been completed just next to that. That's some food. That's pretty nice. And yeah, this is not the capital of this region. A worship place. Ooh, yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that. I don't like a lot of these, to be honest. I really don't like a lot of these. I think the salt house is probably the best thing. It's probably the best thing. We'd have to import the salt for it, but out of all these, salt house is probably the best. We move this citizen onto infrastructure, I guess. Tempted to just have him on culture, but we'll do infrastructure for right now. Our culture decadence is not doing terribly, so it's not the worst situation. It's actually doing pretty decently, in fact, especially relatively, man, especially relatively. Now, next to that, a slave market's been built. Hell yeah, slaves, baby. I could get a theater for a bunch of culture here. We don't have a lot of culture. We also don't have a lot of food. We don't have a lot of food. I would kind of like some food. Orchard would be pretty good for that. Otherwise, charcoal pile could give some infrastructure. Looking at the way it is right now, I think food is of high importance. So we'll get the orchard. Orchard sounds good to me. for some nice food. And I think that's all of our building for right now. All these move orders are given. Nothing to really change at the moment. Oh, hey, wait. Look at this. Loyalty's getting better because this is now under pacification and not just conquered. So that's, yeah, that's pretty helpful. This one is not under any debuff anymore, but it still doesn't look as good as I would expect it to. We do have the farm being built, so I'm going to move one of these guys off food, put him on culture, because we could really probably use someone for that. Same thing here. The odds, everything's just a lot better here in general. Better off, even with the current situation. So getting some guys on culture would be of importance. It doesn't affect a lot, so I'm going to move this citizen off food, put him on culture, just because, I mean, it's fine. You know, it's fine. It works. The food is shared well enough anyway. So that whole province is getting a lot better off. So much so. Getting a preserved food store over here is going to be nice. Maybe change even where I put some of these units. I'm not sure. Because that's going to be free supply. Probably. Now, I can't do that right now, mind you. Just because of the situation with the desert. But that seems like a nice full turn. There's no point really doing any more. Like, hey, give me an alliance. Only 7%. We usually don't get any. Oh, you share supply. Oh, that's good to know. But we usually don't win anything that good. Mario likes me more than they like anybody, which is pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and end turn here. We're going to move it over into the next turn. A lot of this desert still needs to be built up. You know, it started from scratch and it's terrible. So that's, you know, unfortunate. Ellie Mace looks like they're driving really deep into Maria and Arakosia. That's quite interesting. Nubia looks like the war they had has ended. I got an achievement just now for accumulating 10,000 money. First time I've done that, apparently. I guess I got close the one time. Trade good is not spent when traded. Interesting. So, that's... yeah, I kind of noticed that, to be honest. Ooh, freedmen laws. Freedmen laws. Yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna free some slaves. Our golden age is gone. It's very close to coming back, but it's gone. If, in this case, I feel like we can buy some slaves pretty soon. So what happened here? So at this point, the Ethiopian army is kind of like cut off because their war clearly ended with Nubia. What did they take? It feels like they didn't take any land at all. They might have taken like humiliation or something else because they were winning. They definitely took something. Ethiopian and Nubian wars tend to be pretty unsubstantial. Like they don't lead to anything. This means Ethiopia is also a lot tinier now. I wonder, because I would love to make them my client state. And I look at this every now and again, and I just think, well, what if I just gave you, like, all my money? No, they're still too big for that, unfortunately. If I bought things one by one, then it could get a little bit better. Maria has minus 84 war score with Ellie Mace. Fucking how? Land power. The Antigonids have passed me by a lot all of a sudden. That's terrifying. I was number 1 like one turn ago. I checked. Where, Maria, you have a lot of military. Ellie Mace doesn't have half as much as you. How are you getting your ass beat? And Antigonids, why are you so powerful? I don't understand, but somehow they are. So, there you go. Maybe Orientalis? Well... this is the same province. I'm going to move you here for right now. And then you guys can kind of redirect. Just go chase after them. I'm sure you can adapt in that one turn anyway. Saracena, Nabati is not anything special that we have. These guys are trying to unify with that stack there. Not really anything super necessary over here. Loyalty problems over here, sure. Not as much over hither. So we can actually probably move these, but the question would be, I guess, to where? We got those new health regulations, so that's good. Our culture decadence is actually still kind of improving for right now. It's because we're not taking anything new over. So I do have some options when it comes to future expansion that I kind of want to plan for. It's either going after Palmyra, which could actually be very useful because we have an objective on them. And what is this? Running efficiently without corruption. It's now the monarchy. Oh, really? The glorious monarchy. I see. They're progressing. If I did take over all of Palmyra, not only would I get an objective, but I could actually get to the Mediterranean, which would put me in an interesting position. I could also kind of go through Blemies, because they're my client state anyway, and go into Nubia, even connecting by buying stuff from Ethiopia, and kind of surrounding Ethiopia in a way, which would open me up to more of Africa. There's a lot of options. I think I need to focus mostly on my core, though. Palmyra would be important for that. As my age goes up, getting an objective would be pretty important as well. And at this point, you know, they hate me so much, I could kind of prepare for this war right now. Although the question is, if I'm going to do that, then how am I going to do that? We need to kind of be in position as soon as possible. Probably. The way to look at it, like, probably need to be in position as soon as possible. They don't have that big of a military, so taking them over shouldn't be too crazy difficult. I wouldn't want to move down here if we're just going to attack, but Nabatene is not a full province, so just lingering there is maybe not my favorite thing either, right? So this is all very limited. The initial stages would be pretty easy. There's not any walls until you get to the capital and just next to the capital. So I could leave this guy right here, for example, and just go like this. He could leech off this food for a moment and it would be fine. I could take this Saracena stack and move it close by. Hell, I could move it over here just after the war starts. The attacks would have to be kind of staggered anyway. It's kind of a small zone, to be fair. It's kind of a small zone to worry about. Instead of moving you down there, I could actually move you up here, because you could then head in through that way. I think right here, I think this would be a decent setup, to be fair. I think this could be a pretty decent setup for a war. It would maybe be a little bit overkill. It would drain a lot of food from here, where we've just built some regional roads. It would drain a lot of food, but this stack only takes 12. It would be a temporary conundrum for Mesopotamia Superior. Not something too extensive to worry about anyway. Infrastructure was added down here, which is nice, by a wealthy citizen, because he's so happy because of our loyalty. That's a thing about loyalty. Having it high could be pretty useful. A public works has been built hither. I could definitely use a cult site. I could definitely use a slave market. There's a lot of things here that I could definitely use. I'm gonna have to go with the cult site for this location, because we could use some conversion and the culture could be helpful as well, because we don't really have any buildings for that here. And then we have the smokehouse has been built over here that gives some more food and whatnot. That's pretty nice. We don't have a palisade. There's a lot of good things to get here, but I think I'm going to take the palisade just so we have some basic protection finally, right? But otherwise, this still needs a lot of work. There's a lot more to do this turn. However, this is a nice full episode, so I think I'm going to end this here. Thank you guys very much for watching and hope to see you on the next one.